Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 82nd episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast. My name is Benedict. You may know me better as BHL Hudson. Here we talk about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense. With me, as always, is my friend, co-host, and new home inhabiting buddy, Frederick.
Tis I.
He's here.
I like the McConaughey clang. Welcome back to Poorly Planned Podcast.
Didn't think you'd notice. I've worked really hard on that. You know, he has a YouTube channel.
What?
It's really weird. I'll send you the link later. I meant to talk to you about this.
Please do.
I meant to bring up this pressing issue. So, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank God for many moves.
So, Freddie has moved house, so he's no longer at the doll guard. Can I say your last name? I guess it's...
I mean, I think I've said it many times. Yeah. It's also in my Instagram.
It's also, you put out your credit card that one time. The doll guard estate.
Many times.
You're now just at a doll guard...
Doll guard apartment?
Yeah. Disgusting.
Embarrassing.
How the mighty have fallen.
God, what a downgrade.
And yeah, we're going to talk about some movies today, as opposed to what we usually do. Which, I mean, to be fair, I say that jokingly, but we kind of do usually go off on a tangent about Brett Dalton cutouts and Tom Cruise.
Oh, speaking of which, he's looking straight at me right now.
Oh yeah, I guess we get... No, we're not talking Brett Dalton cutout story. But I will just say, I'm very happy that he came with you to the new house, because there was a chance he wouldn't, and you persevered, which I appreciate.
It was a struggle, I'll say, but
he didn't want to go.
I had to pull through. He wanted to stay.
So today...
He wants to meet the new owners.
Today, I feel like the ghost of that cutout haunts your house anyway. Today, we're going to talk about... Also, actually, that would have been a great prank. You just leave it, like, in the shower or something.
Exactly. I was going to say, we leave him in the shower, and then they just...
Oh, dude.
They immediately give us back the house for free.
They immediately buy your new house. We're going to be talking about movies that people hate that we love. So, It's not exactly underrated movies, because they are mostly... I mean, I'm looking at my list here. It's mostly terrible movies, but they're movies that we love for a reason or another, and...
Well, see, I had a question about this whole thing, because...
Yes.
There's many movies that I love, i.e. Rampage, that people would argue is not very good. But does this count as one of those?
I'm glad you brought this up, because there's a distinction.
This kept me awake all night.
There's a distinction between this and so bad it's good movies. So, in fact, I kind of lied at the start when I said that most of mine are terrible. Because I think, this is movies that we... I mean, it doesn't have to be we think are good, but, like, we really enjoy, like, unironically. Mm-hmm. Like, we would sit down and... no offense, Dwayne, but I wouldn't watch Rampage if I wasn't with you, you know? It's, like, it's a fun thing to watch with, like, a friend. It's, like, it's so bad it's good. These are, like, movies that we genuinely enjoyed that other people really disliked. And it can't, even though if you acknowledge it's a bad movie, for example, I have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on my list.
Why do you say it like that? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Then you can still enjoy it, even so. So, yeah. And also, for the record, I mean, it's pretty, it sounds better in a title, but it can also be like, it can also just have gotten like a mediocre critical response. You also don't have to love it. It's more just movies where we differ from the general public opinion. However, movies people hate that we love
So this is basically an episode where we show off just how quirky we are.
Yeah, exactly. We are both Jess from New Girl.
God.
Who are we kidding? I'm Schmidt. Who are we kidding? You're Ferguson.
God, I would love to be Ferguson.
He probably lived a pretty cool life. So let's just think about that. So, first of all, I've picked an epic one, if I do say so myself.
Okay.
Maleficent 2. Still Maleficenting.
I knew you were going to say something.
I know, I could see it in your eyes. You were just like, alright, get it over with.
Go on.
Yeah, this movie's trash.
I haven't seen this.
But it's weirdly very much, I love it. I've only seen it once.
This is the live action one, right?
Yeah, so, and to be fair, I'll grant you, I think this had something to do with the cinema experience, because I saw this with a special person to me, and we had a lovely, it was a lovely day, so you have positive associations with the film. However, considering I think it, like, critically bombed, and considering I didn't like the first one, I have to say, I was thoroughly entertained, even though it was really bad, but it was just, It was so. I guess it kind of like it committed, especially the finale. It committed to being so crazy and weird, especially for a kids movie. And they're just like flying trees and dancing squirrels or some shit. I don't know.
Flying trees and dancing squirrels. Those usually go in the opposite ends. But
dancing trees? Question mark. But
have you not heard of the dancing trees?
It was just I don't know. It was dumb and like a dumb kids movie, but
but I'm a dumb kid, so I love it.
But I have really good associations and memories with it. So yeah, I'll throw that one in there just as a little taster of the episode.
Okay.
Trash.
Well, I think I'll start mine off on a high.
Okay.
I wrote a few things down here.
If Catwoman's on your list, I swear to God.
See, if I wasn't a podcaster now, you know what? I might add. I might talk about that later on. Anyways, it's not what I was gonna go with now. It's actually gonna go with Grown Ups 2.
I was expecting Grown Ups 2 or I don't want to spoil it, but maybe a certain Vaughn being an ass movie coming up. Stuff in that direction.
Genuinely, it's also on the list. We'll talk about it.
Grown Ups Part 2, because the first one was
Grown Ups Part 2.
The story wasn't complete yet, you know.
Because everyone likes the first one, you know, so I couldn't put that on the list.
It's the most popular movie ever made. So what is
outgrossed Avatar?
If you can sum it up very extremely, like painlessly briefly, what is the point and/or story of Grown Ups?
Grown Ups 2.
Right.
Begins
5-hour presentation.
I couldn't tell you. It's such a movie that's so like there's no real plot, and that's what makes it so delightful. In that you're not invested at all, but you're having a good time.
It's like Boyhood.
Me whenever I'm with you.
Different directions.
It's Boyhood.
I went for an Oscar-winning beautiful film.
I won't lie to you. Yeah, I won't lie to you. I would not compare Boyhood to Grown Ups 2. Grown Ups 2 is way better.
When you say no story, then I think of... You know what? You're right. I should have thought of Grown Ups 2. That's fair. You got, what's his name?
Can I just say, it's got a packed cast. Like, a really good cast.
In
that
Kevin
Lautner
James
is in it.
In that who?
That Lautner dude.
Lautner. Oh, Taylor Lautner. That Lautner.
Yeah.
If you know his name is Lautner, you definitely know who Taylor Lautner is. Don't act like you're not a huge Twilight fanboy. I see right through.
No, I knew his name was Lautner, but I didn't know that.
Also, I like how that's the first cast member you think of, not Sandler or any of the main grown-ups. It's got that Lautner guy. It revolves around him.
He really makes it. It's got Björn from Vikings.
Nice, as any good movie does.
As any requirement of a good movie. And honestly, it's got the J. Giles band. What more do you want?
I don't understand the words that just came out of your mouth.
It's got the J. Giles band. You know the band from like the 80s and 90s?
Not familiar, no.
Oh.
Sorry.
I think you'd know their songs. Epic scene in that. Honestly, I've watched that movie genuinely about 30 times.
Is it one of the ones where Sandler went on vacation with his buddies and then they were like, hey, let's make a movie, like, so we can, like, pay off all the restaurants we're going to?
It's definitely like that, yeah.
But you love it, because you wish you were on vacation with Sandler.
I wish I was Kevin James, just in general.
Who doesn't? There are lots of, I'm assuming...
It's every woman's dream.
Being Kevin James. There are lots of hilarious escapades. I'm assuming someone probably gets like, someone gets stuck in a tree or something.
You know what happens?
Yeah. What?
Also, what a hilarious escapade is someone gets stuck in a tree.
I thought you wouldn't really like clock what I said.
The funny BHL life that is.
I just climb into a tree and then just laugh hysterically.
There is a point in which Kevin James jumps off a cliff in the nude while screaming "Mama," and lands with his junk in Kevin. What's his name? Spade, dude.
David Spade.
David Spade's face.
Ah.
So it's a porno.
So this did win Best Picture. With that in mind, I may have to check out the film for that like artistic.
I think I believe you haven't seen it.
It's very easy to believe. Of all the things you don't believe about me, this one should not be on the list.
I would expect you to watch Pulp Fiction sooner. I mean, after you've watched Grown Ups 2.
God. Well, I'm sorry, David Spade. Well, hey, there you go. Well, on that note, I guess I can just throw in here, basically, and it's pretty bad because I've just ridiculed you for about 5 minutes, but now I'm about to do the exact same thing. I literally just wrote, like, stupid comedies, and then sort of a few examples. We have Ted 2, Sex Tape, A Million Ways to Die in the West, The To-Do List, a bunch of these that I watched around, I don't know, probably 20. There was like a period of time in like 2015 and 2016 where I was just like, I don't know, I had a weird, like, not obsession, but obsession would be a very weird word to use right now. But like, I had a period of time where I just really loved watching dumb, pointless comedies where I was just like you don't have to think about it at all. You don't have to, and like I obviously those are still fun, but it's kind of weird that I watched like 8 in 3 months or something. I was just like, I don't know, just, and they were
okay. I would not say that's insanely much.
Well, I wouldn't say, okay, not insane, but it's a bit, I don't know.
I had an addiction.
But it's sort of like, because the fact that they're bad, and I know they're bad, but I was just like, it's kind of fun, just like, I mean, especially, like, I don't know, Sex Tape is just such a nothing movie, but that was part of what I enjoyed about, like, the movies, was that they were, like, there was nothing to think about. It was just, I don't know.
Can I just say, I'll add these two in here, because looking back, I know these are terrible movies, but I do feel like I need to discredit myself a little bit as a podcaster, in that, when I watched these originally, I did not find them bad at all.
Alright, let me guess.
That being Catwoman.
Yeah.
Jack and Jill.
I can genuinely picture you as a young lad imagining Jack and Jill is like the peak of artistic expression.
Peak of Sandler's career.
I like how we went with the exact same example. Artistic expression is Sandler's career. That's the one where he plays his sister, isn't it?
Oh yeah. You better believe it.
That's what the poster said. Jack and Jill, you better believe it. But who would think that that's how you make a good movie? You double the Sandler in it.
The thing is, I always thought that Sandler directed a lot of his own movies, but he doesn't direct any of them.
No.
That's insane to me. Who would allow so many bad movies?
I mean,
like,
podcasting. I mean, I think there are directors who kind of just, that's their thing. They just make kind of like bland whatever movies, bland whatever comedies. Like, I can't remember his name. I don't want to be a dick, so I'm not going to just single out one guy.
Christopher Nolan.
But yeah, so I think they just kind of, in a similar way to the movies that Sandler stars in, I think there are directors who also kind of just go on vacation and hang out, and they just do it behind the camera. I will also say, of the ones that I listed, by the way, I don't think the To-Do List is terrible. It's kind of fun, I guess. It has Phil Coulson in it.
Is that the one with Aubrey Plaza?
It is, yeah. And Ted 2 has its funny moments, though I can't really remember anything from it. But I will say, just an absolute podcast smack to the movie Bad Teacher, which I watched in the midst of my terrible comedy movie binge, and I genuinely did not enjoy it. I enjoyed the movie Sex Tape and A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Bad Teacher.
And I hated
Is that
Bad
the one
Teacher.
with Mila Kunis?
No, it's with Cameron Diaz. And it's so
right.
unfunny and pointless.
Oh, is this where
terrible.
Justin Timberlake dry humps her?
Probably. Then, you want to talk about Catwoman? Do you want to get this out?
God, when do I not want to talk about Catwoman?
I remember the first episode of the podcast, I think. We talked, and you, being the young lad you were at the time, you were like, I like Catwoman. I was like, and being the really mean co-host I was at the time, I was like, oh, you absolute failure of a human being. Now, I say that, but not as
you're the failure, and I'm the cool guy who watches Catwoman.
I say it with 100% sincerity.
I don't know. It a combination of young boy hormones combined with brilliant acting made me like this movie.
Right. I mean, you didn't know, you didn't. It's just
I did not think it was a bad movie.
The whole movie just gives you a headache just by looking at it, the way it's shot and edited.
You give me a headache.
For f***'s sake. Well, fair enough.
I don't know. It just looking back at it now, it's god awful. I will say. But at the time, I was like, "Yo, this is not bad."
Fair enough.
And I liked the suit. The suit was not bad either.
Yeah, we've talked about that. You as a growing boy, you were influenced
I think I have
like this movie.
A partial part of my sexual awakening to that movie.
That's one of the worst things ever said on this podcast. I'm pretty sure I'm going to cut that out, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it in to absolutely humiliate you. That the movie Catwoman was part of your pubescent beginnings.
That and one of the James Bond movies.
I thought you were going to say Grown Ups too. Oh my God. So anyway, moving on to something I watched very recently and I discovered has really terrible reviews, and I recognize why, but I really enjoyed it. And I was going to talk about this as a mini review, but whatever, we'll throw it in here.
Okay.
Guy Ritchie's King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
I still have not seen this. I really want to see it.
I think you would enjoy it quite a bit. It's I think, having not seen the Sherlock Holmes movies, I imagine it's very similar vibe to that.
Well, okay, question. Are the Sherlock Holmes movies not liked by people?
No, I think those are pretty popular. This one bombed at the box office, and I think has like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I will say, I did find it funny looking at the Wikipedia article that apparently, I admire the ballsiness of the studio here, or Guy Ritchie, or whoever this was, maybe Hunnam, where this was meant to be
probably
the first film in a 6-part series. Now, banking on a King Arthur movie in 2017 to be so successful that you could make a 6-part series out of it, especially such a weird Guy Ritchie specific King Arthur movie. It's so bold in such an inexplicable way that I love it. The movie, it's just, I mean, it has, the thing is, the way it's edited is very clearly intentional. Sometimes it's so like weird and fast-paced and all over the place that it's a bit confusing, but I like generally the Ritchie style. I like Hunnam is so charismatic and fun as King Arthur.
Is he?
He's a delightful Arthur.
I love Hunnam.
We have who from Guardians of the Galaxy. We have Lord George is in it from The Gentleman, and his name is George once again. I think that's part of his contract.
I remember. I got a terrified snap of you sitting there with a picture of Lord George saying, "His name is actually George."
And Jude Law as the villain is pretty. You know, he's chewing some scenery. He's doing well.
He's pretty.
I mean, he is pretty. He's a pretty man. There is some terrible green screen and some absolutely dog shit CGI at some points, but if you can look past that, it's a fun little, you know, Ritchie King Arthur, especially since you know the story already. It's a fun little twist on it with basically King Arthur, but they're all like, you know, British bros, and they're like,
I mean, King Arthur is British.
No, but I mean, you know, like modern day British bros. It's like, oi,
okay.
If you're gonna stab, Trigger, stab. Don't, you know, dance. So
One thing you can waste your underpants on.
So King Arthur says all of these things at some point.
So the coach is in King Arthur.
It also features a great song. I'm gonna play this for you right now because I think you would really like this.
Is this the like really deep one?
Yes. Wait,
because I listened to this song from hearing the trailer, and I loved it.
It's called "The Devil and the Huntsman." No.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I think your mic got like temporarily muted there because I heard "Badoof" and then nothing for 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's the one because there's a scene in the film where he's like walking up to the castle with his sword, like dragging on the ground. That song is playing. It's very, very badass.
Nice.
And it's just a fun time, you know. It's fucking weird and yeah, fun. And it's not a great film, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think it's way better than 30%. And I think it deserves 6 sequels if that's what they saw. What the were they gonna do in 6 King Arthur sequels? Like, also Littlefinger's in it, and he's one of his merry men of.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know. Like, they've based a 5-season series off of Merlin. So, I mean, anything's possible.
That's the most absurd concept.
Can you believe that?
Well, go ahead, sir, with your next one.
All right. So this is not a movie that I've got any emotional attachment to, unlike you with King Arthur. But I just saw this, and I told you about it, and I was like, this is actually really, really good. I thought it was like, goddamn, brilliant action blockbuster. Turns out, it like got like 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm in fact talking about Law Abiding Citizen.
Oh.
The one with Butler.
Butler. Let me remind myself what this is.
Butler.
Law Abiding Citizen. With your boy Gerard.
Gerard, yeah.
Huh.
Genuinely, just a really good action movie. I really like it. What's the Rotten Tomato score?
26. Unnecessarily violent and unflinchingly absurd, Law Abiding Citizen is plagued by subpar acting and a story that defies reason. Harsh.
Yeah.
Well,
it's too harsh.
75% audience like. Did I guess you're in that 75? I
guess so.
Is it a Gerard Fox buddy cop or are they enemies?
They are enemies.
Oof.
Which is arguably.
I was hoping you'd say that.
There's a really, really intense scene, like a court scene, which is. I think Gerard acts very well in this. Like he's super scary. He does it very well. I think you would actually like the movie a lot. It's Jerry Boy's family is killed.
Mm.
And then the dudes who did it either go they either escape with no punishment or they get 1 or 2 years in prison or something like that, you know?
Mm.
And then Jerry Boy basically goes on a murderous revenge spree.
Huh, nice.
Yeah. Always wanted to see that.
That's what was missing from Gerard's career. I actually think Papa Hudson might be a fan of this movie. It sounds familiar.
Ooh.
He does often talk about Gerard's murderous revenge sprees, though. So yeah, so just a solid, very good, solid action film.
Solid action movie, I'd say.
Well then, the opposite of that. No, I have one that I think this one. The more times I've seen the film, I kind of get it, but this one really surprised me and we actually saw this together with our French exchange student friends. If you remember that, we had some French exchange students.
Oh yes,
we went.
No, I remember those.
Wait, I know. I'm explaining for the audience. Yeah. So we were like, you know what we should do with these guys who we're supposed to be speaking French with? Take them to the films and don't talk to them. But anyway, we saw X-Men Apocalypse, and genuinely, the film finished, and I was like, you know what? That was really good. And then that's a show, you know. And then I saw the score, and it was 15%. Everyone hated it. And I was like,
I know. I really thought it was quite decent.
I genuinely, and the more times I've seen it, I'm like, okay, yes, the villain's kind of dumb, and it has some weird pacing and bad CGI at points and all that, but genuinely, I still think it's a pretty good movie. I don't know,
yeah.
It's not.
I think the villain's kind of generic, maybe. He's
everything they've built will fall. It's my McAvoy. But yeah, it's I think it has, especially for the X-Men universe, it's
an all-time high.
It's definitely not the worst X-Men film. It has fun action. It has some of the characters are a bit thin, and what's her name from Game of Thrones gives a really strangely bad performance because she's a good actress.
Oh yeah, Sophie Turner.
Yeah, but it has fun moments. It's a fun summer blockbuster that's not top tier, the best thing emotional ever, but it's fun. It has some fun X-Men team stuff.
It's not a hard movie to watch, I'd say.
No, has a great Magneto scene where his family dies for the billionth time, and then he shoots some guys with a necklace. You remember it?
Oh yes. It's also got a great Quicksilver scene.
Yeah, very good Quicksilver scene.
Saves a dude from a mansion. Not a dude, a bunch of dudes from the mansion.
Saves a dude from a terrifying mansion, New Mutant style. Also, by the way, if you can hear my computer, my computer's overheating and sweating, so I'm sorry if you can hear that.
Mine's also doing that a little bit.
Oh, this is gonna be a great pod.
The power of BHL.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy that film, and even though it's not the best X-Men film, I think it's pretty solid still. Also, by the way, another rule we should have put at the start, I guess, but also spoilers for all these films, I guess. A little late to say that, but another rule we should have put at the start. This also isn't, although it can play a part in it, it's not nostalgia necessarily. It's not
no, it's literally just we enjoy these movies.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I'm over explaining it. Also, are you about to be murdered by a hitman or something? You keep looking up as if someone's gonna enter your room and take you out. Which, by the way, my hitman should be there in a moment.
Any moment now. Good luck. No, people just walking by the window. I'm like, Oh.
I'm podcasting in here, guys.
I'm a podcaster, please.
Can you please shut up?
Shoot.
Don't shoot.
I walk outside. Guys, can you shut the fuck up?
I thought about doing that sometimes with my neighbors. I'm like, I'm podcasting at the moment.
I'm a celebrity? Thank you. You see this bubble I'm in? It's called celebrity. Thank you.
Oh my god. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Now, what constitutes a bad movie? Does 37% on Rotten Tomatoes count?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's awful.
This movie sucks.
I don't know if you've seen this movie. A Netflix original.
Is it Bright?
No. Why did you say that with like genuine knowledge that you think that I'd enjoy that movie?
I'm pretty sure you did.
It's not bad. But anyways.
No, I can't think of. Okay, go for it.
6 Underground.
Ah, the Reynolds.
A Reynolds rom-com. No.
Yeah, Michael
A Reynolds
Bay.
action movie. Such a good movie. Like, again, not the most like deep movie ever. It's pretty like generic plot, I'd say. But it's got some of the most insanely filmed action that I've ever seen. It's so good.
Flippy cars?
It's also just like the way it's filmed. It's kind of like it goes into slow-mo and pans out, and it looks, obviously it's not, but it looks as if it's like one long shot sometimes with the stuff. It's very, very like brutal, but in a realistic way.
Well, that all
very, very good.
That's all classic hallmarks of Michael Bay. There's also, some of those long pull-out shot kind of things in Bad Boys and Transformers and all that. So
no, yeah, it's pretty good. Much like the previous one I mentioned. Not a huge emotional attachment to it or anything, but I did really enjoy it. I was kind of blown away by the action. So
so it doesn't have to have like the most poignant story or characters, but I mean, especially if it's a Michael Bay action movie, basically you got what you were looking for, a Reynolds Bay team up fun time. Then let's see, how many do you have left, by the way? Because I'm just thinking how many.
I've got I might figure out a few on the way, but so far I've got 2 left. 2 main ones left.
Okay, I'll do. I'll just okay. I'll shut up and just podcast.
I'm thinking too much. Let me pod.
Well, I guess I'll go for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory now.
Chocolate Factory, very good.
The Jonathan Depp version. Genuinely. Growing up, one of my favorite films ever, and
yeah, I didn't know people didn't like this movie.
Well, I don't know. Actually, I haven't seen.
Honestly, I think there's a lot of movies that I really like that I just assume are so good that everyone likes them, but probably everyone hates them.
Let me look up the reviews for this because I think it's been critically panned. Oh no, never mind. Oh, it has an 83. Oh, whoops.
Ah, you absolute fool.
No, but it has a 51 audience. Because people, I think, I've heard from a lot of people that they don't like this movie. I talk about this movie with a lot of people in my personal life.
Your go-to movie to talk about.
Every
my name's
party
Benedict.
I go to.
Did you know that I like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah, no, it's such a weird, like, I don't know if it's Tim Burton who did it, but it's a very Burton-ish world, and, like, it's such a weird kind of sense of humor, and...
Now, I don't know if Burton's responsible.
But it's just... I don't know, and I haven't seen the original, and I think that's where a lot of people hate it. They're like, it's a total, like, it ruined my childhood of the original. I'm sure the original is great. It's almost certainly better than this.
But does it have Depp?
Technically. Also, weirdly, a lot of people complain about the Depp performance. I like the Depp performance.
I really like the Depp.
It's weird.
I didn't realize it was Depp
fits.
at first. It doesn't give me Depp vibes, if you know.
It didn't have a lot of depth. Nailed that pun. I like, the Depp backstory, the Willy Wonka backstory where his dad hates chocolate. Could have done without that. But, like, generally...
But I think the movie does not take itself too seriously.
No.
Like, whatsoever. So I think it kind of works where it's like this one dude is like, no chocolate for you, Christopher Lee. And then he likes chocolate in the end, so boom.
So epic prank.
So take that, Lee.
But just like also the world it builds in this factory, like, is very, I don't know, I said before, like, it's not nostalgia stuff. Maybe there's a bit of nostalgia that plays into this, but like, I really loved the world, and I thought it was quite a funny film. I thought it did, it's a bit weird and like, like with the song, with the soundtrack, and with some of the jokes don't hit.
Yeah.
But like, generally speaking, I think it does a good job of making it like an overall cohesive. Like it's really weird, like in the film, but like the whole film is so weird. I think it works pretty well.
It does work, yeah. It's a bit of a fever dream, but in a nice way.
And also, I like the before you get to the factory, how they set up all the characters. Like it feels a bit like. I know some people will be like, "How dare you say this?" But like, to be honest, having read the book as a kid, it felt like the book's like this kind of cartoonish children's book world that it built. You know?
Yeah.
With some weird pop songs, granted, but still. So yeah, good stuff.
All right. I've got one.
Oh boy.
And all I'm going to say is, Alan.
What? How?
Jurassic Park 3, love it.
The worst Jurassic Park.
I would say the newer Jurassic Parks are far worse than this one.
You think Jurassic World is worse than Jurassic Park 3?
Yes.
Wow.
Because maybe not... wow. Maybe not production value wise, but it just...
It
like
was
I'd
so
say
boring.
No, it was so good.
Ugh.
Let me explain my viewpoint here. You can't silence me.
I could literally cut all of this out.
I speak for the people here.
I could literally edit out all of your audio.
I literally hold your life in the palm of my hand.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'd say the Pratt version was enjoyable, not memorable. It's the kind of thing, it's like, oh yeah, they've turned it into a generic action/dino movie. Now this, with Dr. Grant, amazing. It's I don't know, it's because I watched the three in a row a lot of the time. Like I think the first one is my favorite.
Yes.
But I think I like this one more than the second one. Like the third one more than the second one.
They're both so meh, but at least the second one has like some grand, exciting scenes. I think the second one's also a Spielberg film. The third one is just so... I can't remember... Someone drinks dinosaur piss at one point, don't they? Or like there's something about dinosaur piss.
He's got T-Rex pee in a jar. But that's it. That's all he does with it.
Because I remember we were at a party one time, and then you took a picture of a friend of ours holding like a big gallon of some kind of liquid. It was like green, and then you wrote a Grant quote beneath it. And I'm really upset that I remember that. And to be honest, that's the only thing I remember about Jurassic Park 3.
I think you say that's the only thing I remember about partying. the Spinosaurus is in it. Genuinely thought that was the coolest thing ever. Such a cool dinosaur. Beats the T-Rex.
Does it?
Shows that it does.
I don't even remember what the Spinosaurus looks like.
It's like it's a bit taller. It's got like the large like spinal fin, or like.
Oh yeah.
And then there's one dude called Billy who, I don't love him as a dude. Like you're meant to like not really like him in the movie, and God does he do a good job of it. But he's got this Velociraptor noise skull thing, and then they communicate with the raptors. I'm like, yo. Nice. So then you should have loved the Billy. Way to go!
You should have loved the Pratt one then, because his whole thing is communicating with the raptors.
No, he's like calm, Blue, calm. Yes. Like, no, he's not going to be calm, Pratt. You Pratt. You know?
Huh? Well, okay, all right, fair enough, I guess.
I love the movie. You can't.
It's such a I don't know. I'm so perplexed by the fact that you love it. Like some of these what we've talked about, they're so polarizing that like I can see, even though everyone hates it, you would love it. Like, but this one is so meh that I don't understand why this is one that like you have strong feelings. It's like having strong feelings for a brick wall. This got really mean.
Yeah, this is a roast at this point. Liking Alan.
You're just
dumb. Like liking dirt.
No, okay, fair enough.
And if you like dirt, you're a weirdo. I.e., you're a weirdo.
No, I like what you like, of course. I'm just having a podcast here, okay? I'm just trying to do my job.
I'm just gonna try to run this thing, okay?
Fair enough, alright.
James, I love it. It's a good one.
I've got like 5 more that are not very good here, so I think I'll just okay. Batman 66 is pretty beloved in its own ways. God. I think Pitch Perfect 1 and 2. Pitch Perfect 1 is beloved. 2 is I also don't even love, so I don't know why I wrote that here. Kick-Ass 2 got super bad reviews. Super bad. McHilarious.
God, this dude, he's McHilarious.
But but I remember kind of enjoying it, but also I don't remember anything about it really, so I'm not gonna include that.
God, this is such a one-man show. Super at McLarious.
Then Yesterday, I really loved and only got middling reviews, but I guess that doesn't really fit the title. And then my final one, I guess, is Percy Jackson 1, the first one.
Oh, I've never liked Percy Jackson.
Because I love the books, and just to see it in live action as a kid, I was like, this is pretty fucking epic. I said that out loud in the cinema.
This is pretty. This is Jude Law pretty.
Nothing's that pretty.
Not even Jude Law.
It's just it's not a great film, but I remember, I don't know, it's just cool. I think Logan Lerman is a very good Percy Jackson. I think what's his name, Al Pacino as his best friend, Alpa. You remember Alpa?
I don't remember anything about this movie.
But you remember Al Pacino is in it from. I had to specify from Tropic Thunder.
I don't.
He's his best friend. He's the goat man.
But I did not remember that it was Alpa.
What the f*** did I just hear?
I just hear Lance?
And we're required to quote that every time this actor is brought up. I think his name is something Jackson.
It's very rare.
I think this is the first time we've ever brought him up. No offense, Mr. whatever your name is.
Mr. Chino?
Mr. Chino. Dario is pretty good. Fucking Tucci's in it. Like,
no, stop. What the f*** did I just hear, Lance?
It's a pretty okay like recreation of the book. It's not great, but it's like underwhelming. But I think it's fun. It has some fun moments. It has the Medusa scene, it has the casino. It's pretty cool. I don't know, and I'm looking forward to the Disney Plus series coming soon, which I will probably do it more justice. By coming soon, I mean probably like 2 years from now. Also, I have to say, Jesus Christ, it is so freaking hot in my room because like we've
take your shirt off
because it's a very sunny day in Denmark here, and then this half of my room is like windows, and we need to get new ones because they don't open properly or whatever. So I have my curtains drawn right now, and you probably can't see because of the lighting, but I'm like sweating my.
No, I can see.
You look like trash.
No, it's very evident.
Maybe that's why the computer's going off. Anyway.
I think it's because we're talking about Lance. I've got my last one here.
Oh, God.
And I think everyone saw this one coming. Especially since I've had beef with our listeners about it. But I was supposed to say Jurassic Park, but Pirates of the Caribbean 2 to 4.
Oh, I thought it was going to be
Goddamn.
Couples Retreat.
Oh.
I hate that movie.
Well, I feel...
We've already talked enough about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's leave it.
I think everyone knew that was going to be here, and it was going to be boring.
Fair.
I'll talk about... I haven't had beef with any of our listeners about Couples Retreat. Are you kidding me? That's got me so much love.
But the JC Comics feud has been...
It's ongoing.
We need to set up a celebrity boxing match.
God, imagine that. But have you seen the poorly planned fan page new meme about it?
Yeah.
Where I'm Pratt and I shoot him.
No. I don't.
Oh well,
Pratt.
You should check that out. It's very good.
And you shoot. Oh yes, when he's Kurt Russell. Yes, I was thinking of Jurassic Pratt. I was like, when does Jurassic Pratt shoot? JC
God,
Comics?
Jurassic Pratt sounds like a new movie.
So, Potka are your favorite movies?
Why do you do this all the time? Tafaz? Potka?
Because it's
what's next?
Catchy.
Because it is fucking brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably talk more about these than Couples Retreat, honestly. But
we have a whole episode about it, so yeah.
It's just, I love them. I don't know why people don't like them. I'll say the 2 and 3, I love them just as much as the first one. I think, almost. 4, I'll admit, is not as good. But I still really enjoy. The 5th one is trash and I hate it. But
legitimately, I almost put the 5th one on here just to piss you off. It worked, clearly. I'm a master of the mind games.
Check, mate.
I agree with you that 2 and 3 are still solid because they're directed by the same guy, Gore Verbinski, and he has this very good.
It's very much in the same spirit.
Yeah, like style. He has a good like adventurous sense, and also like I don't know, like his visuals are excellent, and it has this more, even though it gets a bit too like mystical and magical for my taste, where I preferred the swashbucklingness.
But I'd say that it still has a swashbuckle.
I mean, it does have a bit of a It has one single swashbuckle between those two films.
No.
And the fourth one has negative swashbuckles.
Well, I'll say it gets very, especially in the latest one. God, it gets so fantastical. I don't like it. It gets so like over the top. I'll say the second and the third movie kind of blend together because it's the one long like continued story. I'd say.
Yeah, it's
kind of like an Endgame, Infinity War type of thing.
I would not give them that much credit. It's just like
it's probably better actually.
Like the giant tentacle monsters, and then Johnny Depp is like in a world full of Johnny Depps. It's just like
no, because that's him going insane.
He's like, but like no, okay. I genuinely I can accept that you love the second and third. There's potential there.
Okay.
The fourth, we have beef.
Listen.
I like how you've been totally like
boxing match.
You've been totally cool with all of my picks, and then all of yours. I'm like, dude, you're so stupid. The whole point of the episode is this is the premise of it. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Why do you like that movie?
Literally talking about how we need to be accepting of these movies that we like.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you, huh? Definitely the plot is not nearly as good. And I do miss
Orlando.
What's the one-eyed dude and the guy with bad teeth? I miss the original crew in it as well. I mean, we've got Gibbs, obviously, but
your best friend.
I mean, my best friend. But the essence of Johnny is still here. He is still the same old lovable dude. I also miss Orlando and Elizabeth a lot.
I like how Orlando gets the actor call out, but Elizabeth is just forever Elizabeth. I also like I mean you like the smack kiss for marriage moment. You remember this?
What?
When they get married and they do like a smack, like he smacks him with a sword and then she smacks him with a sword and then they almost smack each other and then they make out.
Oh, and then they
yeah,
hit each other as they're looking at each other like, oh my god, it's so romantic.
God, I don't know how you have a girlfriend. Again, it's supposed to be like just a wholesome podcast and I'm just gone very personal. God, you should be very single at this point.
God.
No, yeah, fair enough.
I'll stand by it. It's bloody good.
They're bloody fun, huh? That wasn't meant sarcasm. Brady's looking at me so angrily. They're fun, are they not? In your opinion? I'm just trying to wrap up this segment. I'm not trying to be a dickhead.
The most condescending bastard.
I wasn't even trying to be condescending.
You like those, dude? They're fun, eh? Do those make you laugh before you take your nap time?
Oh my god. I love how this was the one point in the episode where I wasn't trying to be a dick and it came across as the most dickish part. Which I think speaks volumes about my character. Oh man. Well, hey, let's move on before we break up the podcast. So those were movies that we love that other people hate. What an episode. Now it's time for
the Cnews.
We have some actually, I would argue, tragic Tom Cnews, kind of.
Tom Cruise is dead?
No.
But only arguably tragic?
That would be really bad. I guess you could call this tragic. No, Tom Cruise is alive and well, thankfully. It's about his movies. His movies are not alive and well. So the next Cnews film slate has been pushed significantly. So Top Gun 2, which was meant to come out, I believe in a few months, has been pushed to November, which then pushes Mission Impossible 7 to May of 2022, and which then pushes Mission Impossible 8 to July 2023. So we could have had the Cnews Mission Impossible completion pretty soon, arguably, and now we're waiting until mid-2023. Yeah, so...
God.
And obviously it's because of the pandemic and
Cruise, no one's asked for a Top Gun 2. Just stop doing it.
You could really just replace the Top Gun 2 with the Mission Impossible ones. Like,
yeah,
that's pretty
like
real.
Genuinely, no one really cares, I don't think.
Suck on that, goose. But
God, if you haven't seen Top Gun, that just sounds super weird. Yeah, suck on that goose.
Suck on that goose, It's the new insult. Hashtag suck that goose. Can we get that trending? Can we?
God,
everyone drop one of those
from Twitter. Yo, can I get a suck my goose trending?
God, drop one of those in the comments. Oh God.
Can I see some suck my goose in the chat?
Let's not make that a thing. Anyway, so that sucks.
Oh, I see the chat is spamming suck my goose.
It must be a good day.
Weather must be nice outside.
So dumb. So, yeah, sad Cnews. Obviously, it's because of the pandemic, and then I think now, because he has to do media duties, it has to push filming of something. I don't know. It's
He just takes a huge duty in front of the media.
I knew you were gonna say that. This is the point in the episode where it all goes to shit.
So juvenile.
Yeah, it's like duty. Which, to be fair, is most of the podcast anyway. So, now it's time for the announcements and such. Take it away, us, in 2 days. And we're back with the announcements and such. The rest, I realize we stopped saying this, but the rest of the episode was recorded about a week ago. This was recorded way closer, so we have up-to-date announcements. The
most up-to-date.
Very cool stuff. Now, basically, just gonna run through some comments real quick. Yeah, so there were just lots of, as usual, nice and funny comments in the latest few pods and pod vids.
With a few hate comments here and there.
Yeah.
We move.
All right, most of them are hate comments, if I'm being realistic. GC Green just says he appreciates the kind words we said about the fan art, and he says, I'm annoyed how some of my best work to date is attached to something that has Freddy Got Big written across it, yet during art class, I struggle to draw a stick figure without screwing it up.
That's a disappointment that any man would have.
Something about the pod must bring out my skills. So, yeah, I mean, it's a shame something so horrendous brings out your skills, but the skills are immaculate, I have to say. Excellent fan art.
Skills are there.
Michael Scarn commented reasons why he didn't like Why Him, so I just thought maybe you should add him to the list of our fans that you want to fight.
Okay, yeah.
Movie Guy. This one perplexed me a bit. I mean, it made me laugh, but it also confused me.
It also made me cry.
He commented on the WandaVision pod vid, imagine Paul Bettany as Raymundo. I don't understand what would make a man think of such a thing, but yeah.
That is a horrific thought to have. Imagine Paul Bettany goes in and goes, my name is Raymundo.
You know what? Now that you say that, kind of sounds pretty good.
Actually, you might be onto something.
Anurag asks, what are our thoughts on Mads Mikkelsen in being an Indiana Jones? I think we'll talk about that actually in a future episode.
I think we might have a whole Mads Mikkelsen episode.
I would genuinely be okay with that. Movie Guy says we need a Brett Dalton documentary about how we tortured him into being a cardboard cutout. Also very on board for that. I think we should do just a video where we just throw the cardboard cutout just around and stuff. I feel like that'd be pretty fun. Just set it on fire,
Well, we might have to kill him at some point soon.
Well, when we inevitably have to destroy that cardboard cutout, we're definitely making it into a video. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
We can throw that into episode 100. Which, by the way, if you have any ideas, and I think I'll say this for the next few pods, if you have any ideas for episode 100, leave them down below. I can't guarantee we'll do everything suggested, but I'm looking to make it a fun thing. If you have any ideas, leave them down below. Then Movie Guy commented on my latest YouTube video, BHL's message to Big Nasty, and it links to a part of the video where I say, where I'm impersonating George St. Pierre, and I say...
Oh, I did actually see this.
You did?
I liked it a lot.
I say, you think I'm scared of you, man? And he says that is my message to Big Nasty of Creed 2 fame. So, yeah, I would like to say, Big Nasty, come catch these hands.
Big Nasty, let me nasty you up.
Yeah, let me nasty you up. That's JC Comics. I'm not sure what I wrote this note for specifically. I wrote, JC Comics, the war has begun. I think that's a comment left by someone. Maybe him?
War has begun.
Or maybe it's just...
Is this something on the fan page, or is this just something he wrote to you in a declaration? And is this the JC Comics where I shoot him as Ego?
Yeah, probably. Anyway, somewhere that it says that, so I just wanted to include that. And speaking of which, I guess we can talk about the fan page now. There's one thing on the fan page. It's this wonderful video that I think we referenced earlier in this pod, actually, of you shooting JC Comics as Peter Quill because of his Pirates of the Caribbean opinions. So, yeah, good stuff.
I don't like the last 4 Pirates movies.
What? No, all right. I know that sounds bad.
So yeah, check out the fan pages, link down below, and we're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, link down below, and if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we're on YouTube, search the Poorly Planned Podcast, and you'll probably find us. So, yeah, back to the pod.
Oh my god, I can't believe Tom Cruise shit himself on set.
For legal reasons that didn't happen.
It's got... He sues us for telling the truth about his embarrassing moment.
God, I really hope I meet Tom Cruise one day. Just tell me about this specific moment.
That is an awful segue. We're sitting here talking about him shitting himself. You're like, God, I hope I meet him. Jesus.
Oh my god. This is the worst thing ever. So anyway. So that was the pod this week. I hope you enjoyed. You can find me on YouTube, BHL Hudson, Instagram, Twitter, BHL_Hudson. You can email the pod at bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com. I think this one broke me. I think this pod is the one where I snap. Oh, jeez.
The thought of the crew's duties is too much for any man.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at FDK_AdultSniper. You can find me on Instagram at FDalgard, and you can find me on YouTube at FDK_Gaming.
Can I just say, the moments like these are why it concerns me when friends say, like, oh yeah, I listen to the pod actually. I'm like, oh God. Like people whose respect I actually want. I'm like, oh, so you've...
God, suck my goose.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
God. Oh, Jesus. Well,
do
see you next time, folks.
do the outro.
Alright.
Gets genuinely mad.
What the fuck is the outro?